My duty was to protect the alien princess, but she keeps flirting while escaping. Lieutenant Marcus Hale had been trained to ignore distractions. Noise, danger, fear, pain. Those were easy. What he had not been trained for was an alien princess smiling at him while alarms screamed and laser fire tore through the walls. The space station Oriali spun slowly above a dead moon, its polished halls built for diplomats, not emergencies. Now the lights flickered red and the air smelled of burned metal. Marcus moved fast but calm, his boots steady against the shaking floor. He kept his rifle low but ready, eyes scanning every doorway. Behind him floated Princess Salith of the Luran Empire. She did not look afraid. Her tall, glowing form shimmered faintly blue, her crystalline skin catching the emergency lights like glass. Long, elegant shapes extended from her back like folded wings made of light. She hovered effortlessly, hands clasped behind her as if this were a walk through a garden instead of an escape from an assassination attempt. "So," she said lightly, her voice musical even over the alarms, "is every human rescue this exciting, or did I get special treatment?" "Lieutenant Hale," Salith continued, drifting closer, "I read your species values honesty. Should I be worried by your silence?" 2 hours ago, he had been standing at attention inside a council chamber, listening to politicians argue over borders and trade. Then the doors had exploded inward, and armed figures in black armor had poured into the room. Marcus had moved without thinking, tackling Salith out of the air as energy bolts tore through the space where she had been hovering. Since then, everything had been motion. The Galactic Council had chosen a human for this assignment for one simple reason. Humans were considered emotionally dull by most advanced species. Too blunt, too rigid, immune to psychic influence, pheromones, and empathic manipulation. Perfect guards. Marcus did not care why he had been chosen. He cared that Salith was alive. They reached an intersection. Marcus raised a fist. Salith stopped instantly, hovering in place without a sound. He leaned forward, peering around the corner. Two figures moved down the hall, weapons scanning. Their armor marked them as Varkesh mercenaries. Expensive, skilled. Someone powerful wanted the princess dead or captured. Marcus pulled a small disc from his belt and rolled it silently across the floor. It slid to a stop near the corner. A soft pulse rippled through the air, the lights flickered, the mercenaries' helmets sparked. Marcus stepped out and fired twice. The shots were clean, controlled. He moved before the bodies hit the floor, dragging Salith past them without slowing. She looked back, eyes wide, not with fear but interest. "That was efficient," she said. "You did not even hesitate." They turned into a maintenance corridor, narrower and darker. Pipes lined the walls. Steam hissed from a ruptured vent. Marcus adjusted his path, keeping himself between Salith and every possible threat. "You are injured," she said suddenly. Marcus glanced down. A thin line of blood seeped through his sleeve. He had not noticed. "It's nothing." He did not respond. Salith studied him as they moved. Her species could read emotional energy in most beings. Fear shimmered like heat. Anger burned bright. Desire was impossible to miss. From Marcus she felt almost nothing. It unsettled her. "Lieutenant Marcus Hale," she said, carefully pronouncing his full name. "Do you not find this situation even a little overwhelming?" Beyond lay a cargo bay, its massive doors half open to space. A transport shuttle waited inside, engines warming. Relief flickered through Marcus's mind. Almost there. Then motion on the upper platform caught his eye. "Down!" he shouted. Salith dropped instantly, flattening herself against the deck as shots rained down. The air crackled with energy fire. Marcus returned fire, moving sideways, using crates for cover. He counted shots, tracked reloads, adjusted angles. 3 attackers, 1 flanking left. Marcus threw a smoke charge and sprinted through it, sliding behind the flanker and disabling him with a sharp strike. He spun, firing upward, forcing the remaining attackers back. A heavy bolt struck his chest plate, knocking him off his feet. Salith screamed. Marcus rolled, pain flaring, but his armor held. He pushed himself up, firing until the last mercenary fell silent. The cargo bay was suddenly still except for the hum of the shuttle. Marcus breathed once, steadying himself. He turned. Salith hovered in front of him, her glow brighter than before. "You were hit," she said, her voice tight. "Armor absorbed it," Marcus replied. "We're leaving." As the engines roared to life and the station shrank behind them, Marcus finally allowed himself a longer breath. They were not safe yet, not even close. Across the galaxy, forces were already moving. Empires rose and fell over power like Salith represented, but Marcus did not think about politics or prophecy. He thought about routes, supplies, defenses, and one simple fact. He had been ordered to protect the alien princess. And as far as Marcus Hale was concerned, that meant the entire galaxy would have to go through him first. The shuttle moved through open space like a dark arrow, engines burning low to avoid detection. Stars stretched into thin lines and then settled back into sharp points as the jump completed. Lieutenant Marcus Hale sat strapped into the pilot's seat, eyes fixed on the sensors. Every sound mattered. Every signal could mean death. Behind him, Princess Salith floated just above the floor, her glow dimmed to a soft blue. She watched him quietly for several minutes, something rare for her. "You have not rested," she said at last. Marcus did not look back. "We will rest when we reach a safe zone." Marcus straightened. 3 unidentified ships appeared on the long-range scanner, closing fast. "Hold on," he said. Salith did not ask questions. She folded her glowing wings tight and braced herself as the shuttle veered sharply. The sudden movement would have crushed most beings, but Marcus held the controls steady, muscles tense, jaw tight. The first shots came seconds later. Blue energy streaks cut through space where the shuttle had been moments before. "They followed us," Salith said. "Yes." The enemy ship fired again, closer this time. The shuttle shook as fragments grazed the hull. Salith's glow flared bright. "They want me alive." "That field is unstable." The enemy ship slammed into a drifting rock, its shields failing under the impact. It spun out of control and vanished in a burst of light. Silence returned. Marcus waited a full minute before restarting the engines. Salith let out a long breath. "You defeated them without even destroying them." "You say that like a fact." "This place feels lonely," she said. "It is," Marcus replied. "That's why it's useful." "Sit still." "It will not heal you fully, but it will stabilize the tissue." He stood, testing his movement. "Better," he admitted. She looked pleased. "You see, cooperation." Name scratched into metal. "These humans," she said, "they came here often." "I would still do it." "Simple problems don't need complex answers." "Be advised, some of these groups consider humans expendable." "Then we keep moving." Far away, powerful beings watched data streams and revised their plans. The human was not behaving as expected. He did not bargain. He did not threaten. He simply endured. And for the first time, the galaxy began to understand that protecting a human's charge meant something very different than they had assumed. The shuttle traveled through silent space, far from busy trade lanes. Marcus Hale adjusted the course again, choosing paths that avoided known sensors and patrol routes. Each change added time, but time was better than capture. Princess Salith watched the stars drift by. She was quieter now, her playful tone replaced by thought. The galaxy felt different when one was being hunted. After several hours, the shuttle approached a dark shape ahead. It was massive, old, and broken. A human-made structure, half hidden inside a cloud of dust and frozen gas. Salith leaned closer to the viewport. "What is that?" As they drew closer, faint lights flickered to life along the structure's surface, like a giant waking from sleep. The docking clamps locked with a deep metallic sound. Marcus stood, checking his weapon and gear. "Stay close. This place isn't friendly." Old human symbols were painted on the walls, faded by time. "Why come here?" Salith asked. "Because no one expects humans to keep using their ruins," Marcus replied. They moved carefully. The station was not empty. Marcus felt it before he saw it. A shift in the air, a hum beneath hearing. "Stop," he said. Salith froze. From the shadows ahead, shapes formed. Tall, thin figures stepped into the light, their armor smooth and dark, their eyes glowing pale green. Salith's glow dimmed. "They are Kethari." Its voice echoed inside Marcus's head rather than his ears. "You bring chaos into quiet places. Most end in suffering." Finally the Kethari stepped aside. "You may pass, but know this, human, many will hunt you, not for the princess alone, but to understand you. Fear doesn't decide actions, information does. Someone activated a beacon recently." Marcus could hear cutting tools, weapons charging. "They found us," Salith whispered. "Yes," Marcus said, "and they brought numbers." "Because that's in order." A blast hit the wall near him, throwing him off balance. He recovered, but pain flared through his side again. Salith reacted without thinking. She raised her hands, her glow flaring bright white. A wave of energy burst outward, slamming into the attackers and throwing them back. The corridor fell silent. Marcus stared at her. "You said your abilities were limited." "The beacon was bait." He rolled, protecting Salith as debris rained down. For a moment there was nothing but silence. Then Marcus groaned and pushed himself up. Salith was beneath him, unharmed, her glow weak but steady. "You're bleeding again," she said. "I know," he replied. They were trapped in a broken section of the station, hull torn open to space but sealed by emergency fields. Marcus tried his communicator. "Static, no signal," he muttered. Salith looked around, fear finally clear on her face. "Marcus, what if this is where it ends?" "There's a difference." "Humans are cruel," she whispered. Marcus shook his head. "No, we're stubborn." Dust drifted through the broken chamber where Marcus Hale and Princess Salith stood. The emergency field shimmered weakly where the hull had been torn open, holding back space with failing strength. Marcus tested his legs. Pain shot up his side, but he forced himself upright. "We can't stay here," he said. Salith nodded, her glow faint but steady. "The station is dying." "But dying things are unpredictable. That works both ways." As they moved through the tunnel, distant sounds echoed, boots on metal, weapons firing, commands shouted in alien languages. The attackers were searching. Salith whispered, "They will find us." Crates floated slowly, bumping into walls. Marcus grabbed a handhold and pulled himself forward, guiding Salith behind him. "You are bleeding more," she said. "Still functional." "They're trying to force us out." "Manual controls." Marcus slammed his hand into the manual release, muscles straining as old mechanisms resisted. "Help me," he said. Salith placed her hands beside his. She focused, her glow brightening just enough. The metal groaned and slid open. They fell through as another explosion tore the ring apart behind them. The bulkhead slammed shut. For a moment there was only darkness and heavy breathing. The core spine was narrow, lined with thick cables and emergency ladders. Gravity here was stronger, steadier. Salith leaned against the wall, visibly exhausted. "I cannot do that again," she said. Marcus nodded. "You won't need to." "Marcus, you could still leave." "I value what I can do." "Human command access required," the system droned. Marcus placed his hand on the panel. "Lieutenant Marcus Hale, Terran Armed Forces, Emergency Authority." Metal screamed as tools bit in. Marcus typed rapidly. "Routing power, locking sections, overloading external corridors." "Marcus." "Human," one shouted. "Surrender the princess." The attacker tried to retreat. The station's gravity surged suddenly, slamming the alien to the floor. Marcus disabled him and stepped back. He swayed slightly. Salith rushed forward, supporting him. "You're going to collapse." "Evacuation advised." "You intend to stay," she said. "Yes." Before he could react, she activated the pod launch controls. The door began to close. Marcus lunged, grabbing the frame. "Salith, do." Marcus was thrown backward as the spine collapsed. He hit the deck hard, vision blurring. For a moment everything went quiet. Then his suit alarm screamed. Hull breach, structural failure, core overload. Marcus dragged himself upright. He limped toward a secondary hatch, barely standing. "Mission," he muttered. "Not finished." A human listening post had just killed a strike force, and the galaxy began to understand something important. Humans did not need large numbers. They only needed a line they refused to let others cross. Space was silent where the human station had been. Debris drifted slowly, glowing pieces cooling as they spread across the dark. Energy waves faded, leaving nothing but broken metal and echoes. To many watching from far away, it looked like the end. Princess Salith's escape pod flew on, engine steady, following a preset course toward neutral space. Inside, she sat very still, hands folded, her glow dim and unsteady. She replayed the moment again and again. Marcus standing firm, Marcus refusing to leave, Marcus trusting her to live. Her people believed emotions should flow freely, but grief was heavy even for her kind. She had lost many things in her life, titles, safety, certainty, but this loss felt different. It felt unfinished. The pod's console chimed. Incoming signal. Salith froze. The signal code was weak, damaged, but unmistakable. Human. Her glow flared bright as she opened the channel. At first there was only static, then a voice rough and quiet. "Pod receiving, identify." Somewhere inconvenient. The capsule had been launched into space moments before the station tore itself apart. It was damaged, low power, limited air, but it existed. Salith rerouted her pod immediately, ignoring safety warnings. "I am coming to you." Then softly, "Understood." Medics worked quickly, surprised by how calmly he followed instructions. Salith waited nearby, watching every movement. "You should be resting," a medic told her. "I am," she replied. "I am watching." The human who refused to retreat. Alien councils argued. Mercenary guilds rewrote contracts. Quiet species that had watched humanity from a distance began to reconsider old assumptions. Humans were not the strongest. They were not the most advanced, but they were the most dangerous kind of protector, because they did not calculate value in terms of profit or power. They calculated it in responsibility. Salith was escorted to a protected world under neutral law. Representatives from dozens of species arrived, each pretending concern, each measuring risk. Humans arrived too, not with fleets, with guarantees. Marcus stood beside Salith during the negotiations, arms still in a brace. He said nothing unless spoken to. When one delegate questioned the cost of protecting her, Marcus spoke once. "She's under human protection," he said simply. The room went quiet. The delegate cleared his throat and changed the subject. Later, in a quiet garden overlooking an artificial sky, Salith floated beside Marcus. The crisis was not over, but it had shifted. The hunters were cautious now. Fear had entered the equation. "You have changed the balance," she said. Marcus shrugged slightly. "It was already broken. But I will not forget this." Her enemies withdrew not out of kindness but calculation. Attacking her now meant provoking humanity, and humanity had proven something important. They did not need permission to act. When it was time for Salith to return to her people, Marcus escorted her to the departure platform. Her ship waited, elegant and bright. "This is farewell," she said. "Yes. I once flirted because it was easy, then because it was curiosity. Now it is gratitude." As her ship lifted into the sky, Marcus watched until it vanished. Later, reports would describe how hostile activity near human-protected individuals dropped sharply across the galaxy, how mercenary prices tripled when a human escort was involved, how ancient species updated threat assessments, but Marcus Hale returned to duty quietly. Another mission, another responsibility. Because somewhere out there, someone would need protection. And if a human said, "I will protect you," the galaxy now understood what that meant. It meant someone had drawn a line, and humans, once they drew a line, did not step back.